remember where these debts have come from and how they have started. I was just listening to the former chairman of the budget committee shouting hoarse here that the debt is not sustainable. I don't know what. Much of these debts were incurred when he was the chairman of the budget committee. And he's the one who approved them in this house, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was listening on my way to Parliament that he's saying that he was complaining initially. First, you don't come with the lecture hall notes to Parliament. When you are studying somewhere, doing masters in some economic class, don't come with your notes to the House, Mr. Speaker. You come with your brain here, Mr. Speaker. You can't carry. Standing orders prohibits people from reading from notes, Mr. Speaker. You go and meet your lecturer, and then he gives you some small notes like Ile Mwakenya, old Mwakenya style. Then you come and use them here in the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you come here with your brain because this is a house of people who should reason with their brain. Mr. Speaker, the other day he was telling us that the stockbroker, the other day he was telling us that Kenya Pipeline will not be bought. I am hearing now it has been oversubscribed, Mr. Speaker. He was saying that the Safaricom shares were overpriced. Now today again he's saying they are underpriced. Which one is which, Mr. Speaker? That kind of confusion is not good for the economy of this country, Mr. Speaker. That kind of confusion is not good for the country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you're a toddler in economic matters, stick to your lane, Mr. Speaker. Stick to your lane. Don't become an intellectual and economic powerhouse after you have been sacked as a budget committee chair, Mr. Speaker. You stick to your lane. If you're a man who's handling a CDF committee money, just stick to that lane, Mr. Speaker. Other things are bigger than you. Mr. Speaker, I am not trying to defend this regime. But when this government came into power, Mr. Speaker, the economy was in a very bad situation. Inflation was very high. We were almost at the brink of debt, distress, or even defaulting, Mr. Speaker. You know, inflation was almost double digit. We didn't have even enough fuel to fuel our cars in this country, Mr. Speaker. Today, inflation is at the lowest rate. The economy is growing over 5%, Mr. Speaker, heading to 5%. So, Mr. Speaker, let us not lie to Kenyans when you don't want to say the truth. If the truth does not suit your political agenda, then don't lie to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. I am in a region I represent a constituency which has seen tarmac just the other day. This country has been borrowing for the last 60 years to develop certain regions of this country. And we are paying those debts as Kenyans, all of us, Mr. Speaker. We are paying taxes to service those debts. You know, this is the year of the truth, the year of the Lord, 2026. Mr. Speaker, this country has been borrowing the last 60 years to develop tarmac roads, to give water, to give health care to just certain regions of this country, Mr. Speaker. This is the time to get equitable distribution of resources so that every Kenyan can feel he's a Kenyan, Mr. Speaker. If you go, in fact, we have been demanding as ODM for the last 5 years to have an audit, the debt to be audited, or an audit of the debt, Mr. Speaker. Because we knew that this debt has not been used equitably. You have been told this country has borrowed last 10 years 1 trillion. I don't see anything in my constituency. I don't see a road. I don't see this is now when I'm seeing roads. It is now that I'm seeing dams. It is now I'm seeing healthcare facilities being built. It is now that I'm seeing housing being done. Now, Mr. Speaker, the other day, 1,500 housing units have been advertised in my constituency, Mr. Speaker. For the first time since independence. The last group who worked in my constituency, Mr. Speaker, were the colonialists. I have never seen a development after colonialists, Mr. Speaker. The last building, even where the county commissioner is using, was built by the colonial regime, Mr. Speaker. Yes, after the colonialists, we have just been waiting for the government. And this broad-based now is when we have seen things opening up, Mr. Speaker. And Kenya has been incurring debts. Kenya has been collecting debts, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these new prophets in town, hii manabii ya uongo, must stop what they are saying, Mr. Speaker. They must allow every Kenyan to enjoy the debt. If we are going to borrow, all of us must enjoy that debt, Mr. Speaker. We cannot borrow for a certain group to enjoy and then we pay together. Have you ever seen? Mr. Speaker, the leader can inform me. Because he's a chartered accountant. You know that,
Honorable Janet,
senior accountant in the
it's
country.
not your prerogative, but anyway, Leader, proceed to inform Honorable.
Honorable Speaker, you know, I've been to Suna, both Suna East and Suna West, and it is indeed true. And I wanted to inform the Honorable Junet that courtesy now of the alternative financing models, Suna West, Suna East, many parts in Migori County, and he can attest to that, are now seeing new markets being built, affordable housing being built. In fact, I saw a clip yesterday where somebody was saying, now even Jaluo can wave from the balcony. Those guys who patronize Bunga la Mwananchi. But more importantly, Honorable Speaker, what Junet is saying is that debt is not criminal to borrow. Honorable Speaker, you know there are people who have been pontificating here as if this is the first time we are borrowing. What happened, Honorable Speaker, is that in the last regime, debt was not managed. Our public debt was not managed. That is why if you listen to CS John Buddy, he will tell you that, and I have heard even the president say that, and these are facts that you can verify, even from reports by the World Bank and IMF, that out of 6 countries, African economies that were to default or were earmarked, that they were bound to default on their public debt. The only country that never defaulted was Kenya. All the other 5 African economies defaulted. Why?
Because there has been deliberate management of public debt. And that public debt management is what we should be speaking to here, not the pontification you hear from people here who are just trying to make cheap political capital to push their village narratives, Honorable Speaker. And I must thank Honorable Junet because he has reminded us that there are many parts of this country that were secluded from development because people borrowed and that borrowing only went to certain parts of this country. And everybody was paying back that debt, Honorable Speaker. So let me inform Junet that I know even the dueling of national highways will go through Migori to Isebania so that we connect our economy to Tanzania and other economies in East Africa.
Very well. Proceed to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by saying, you know, Mr. Speaker, I've just learned recently that politicians, when they lose their positions, either chairman of a committee or something, they can become motivational speakers. Mr. Speaker, they go to some hall, they say, oh, if you borrow 10,000, you don't need to put in that scheme, you put in this housing, then that housing is not going to give you money, put it in stock brokers. These are motivational speakers, Mr. Speaker. This country requires serious men and women, like the people handling our economy today. People like John Buddy. Yes. Those are the people who can take us far, not motivational speakers, Mr. Speaker. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, as the leader has said, borrowing is not the issue. The issue is how you manage your debt. Even you, when you can borrow as an individual, if you don't manage your debt as an individual, you will be auctioned. So, Mr. Speaker, we must give credit to this government. That's the truth. We must give to this government that they found things that were very bad and they have managed it. They managed to pay the Eurobond. They managed to pay all the Chinese debts that were due. And today, Mr. Speaker, this country is not under debt.
Honorable Junet, you have done very well. Add him 1 minute, he's a leader. Add him 1 minute, he's a leader. Just 1 minute. You have a microphone. Leader, you have a microphone there.
Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by saying that you remember when, after the general election, there was Eurobond to be paid. Who borrowed the Eurobond? Who put Kenya in the debt of the Eurobond? People who are destroying now my party of ODM are the people who borrowed those things, Mr. Speaker. And they're using that money now to destroy my party, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable Eric Muchangi.
Don't get worried, members will speak to this, and I can see you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and allow me, Honorable Speaker, to support this report by this committee. It is, looking at it, it is a good report, and Honorable Speaker, my attention is drawn to only about 2 areas in their recommendations. On the issue of the National Treasury scaling up development expenditure, above the minimum 30%. And Honorable Speaker, one big problem we have in our country is that we borrow finances from all the sources, but not all our resources are utilized prudently, Honorable Speaker. And the same Public Finance Management Act requires that not above 35% of our resources are spent towards wages and salaries. And Honorable Speaker, looking into the budgets by our counties, which are the units that where we have our public resources utilized and spent, most of our counties have wage bills above 50%. So that tells we borrow our resources, and much of it is spent to pay wages and salaries. And I am not sure, Honorable Speaker, how sustainable this is, because we borrow as a country in the hope that most of our resources will be used to develop our country, but much of it is not utilized in the best way. Then, Honorable Speaker, at the center of this debt management strategy should be the fight against corruption, or rather, whatever means we should apply to have our institutions account for the resources is what we must apply. Because, Honorable Speaker, it cannot be said that this country doesn't have resources. We have a lot of resources at our disposal. Some of it borrowed, some of it generated from our own country, but, Honorable Speaker, a lot of it is wasted through unnecessary spending, renovations, and acquisitions that are not a priority for this country. So, Honorable Speaker, even as we look into how to manage our debt as a country, we must pay a lot of attention, very keen attention, to how we manage corruption in this country, because it is a serious impediment to our growth as a country. So, Honorable Speaker, I support.
We have the Honorable Ndindi. He's been here for some time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the committee's report on management of on debt management strategy 2026. Mr. Speaker, from experience that we gained from the Public Accounts Committee, we have always seen the Auditor General questioning why we have interest rates on undrawn loans. And Mr. Speaker, the issue is that sometimes, or in most cases, when you are doing budgeting, we have two components, the GOK component and the donor-funded component. You will find that many of the government state departments, especially National Treasury, will go ahead and commit on loans, but it will not use the loans as per the time factor. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the committee that we need to amend the PFM Act 2012-2015 so that whenever we engage any donor to give us a loan or a debt, we are able to use the debt accordingly. We are able also to negotiate in a way that the government is able to pull more on its side than the side of the donor. Also, Mr. Speaker, you'll find many of the debts that we have with the last regime, and I want to support the minority leader, used to borrow even commercial debt to pay government employees, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank the committee led by Honorable Shurie that we need to manage the borrowing of debt so that if we borrow, we should specifically and seriously borrow for development, not to pay recurrent income expenditure, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I rise to support the report, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Honorable Wamuchomba, followed by Honorable Mukunji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to put my words into the consideration of this strategy, debt management strategy debate. Mr. Speaker, I was honored to serve in the Committee of Transport and Communication in the previous parliament. And I sat in a chair and listened to several members of parliament who came to the committee to plead with the minister during budget allocations so that their constituencies can be considered for tarmacking. Mr. Speaker, allow me to mention one of my colleagues who may not be in the House now, but I want to use his constituency as an example of how serious and dangerous it can be when a country takes a debt but is not able to manage. And before I speak about that constituency, Mr. Speaker, allow me to laud the current President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. It is not very common for me to say what I'm going to say. We doubted him, we didn't believe in him. When he spoke about managing debts, we thought it was just a narrative. When he promised that he's going to make sure that we access fertilizer, we thought it was just another story. Today, Mr. Speaker, I come from an agricultural constituency. Fertilizer was 7,500 shillings per bag. Today, we are spending 2,500 shillings for the same bag, even with the inflation consideration. Even if you don't like anybody or somebody, even if you have bad feelings about somebody, when something good has been done, it is good for us leaders to speak the truth. Mr. Speaker, that does not happen just because of a miracle. It happened because somebody managed our situation. He came in when we were struggling to pay our debts. He managed the financial crisis that were therein, and he was able to stabilize the basic commodities that can enable star production in our villages. Mr. Speaker, back to what I said about my previous role as a vice chair of the Committee of Transport. Then when we were debating on which constituency is going to get what, when I was the vice chair, there is this member called Honorable Danson Mwashako Mwakuona, the current MP for Wudanyi constituency. He appeared in the committee last parliament, pleaded with the committee and the minister to be considered to at least get 1 kilometer of tarmac. 1 kilometer. Mr. Speaker, I come from Githunguri constituency. I'm not speaking about 1 kilometer in my constituency. I'm not talking about 20 kilometers in my constituency. I have more. And I sit in this house as a member, like any other member in this house, who has not even a single kilometer of tarmac. Mr. Speaker, even as we speak about our people, our voters, we must remember that we have one fabric called Kenya. And as we speak about some regions enjoying tarmac, enjoying housing, enjoying airports, we must consider those that come from such corners of Kenya who have never experienced a kilometer of tarmac. It will not happen by narratives or theories or proposals. It will only happen by managing our situation financially, including debts. Let us allow the president of the day manage the situation. As a house, we must support him and advise him so that he can manage the situation and ensure that as I receive 2,180 units of affordable housing in Githunguri, all other constituencies in this country get the same share. Mr. Speaker, debts do not have a rubber stamp of who received how many kilometers of tarmac. It is normally referred as a Kenyan debt, not as a regional debt. So as we manage our debt, we must make sure every corner of this country is benefiting from our crisis if we have a crisis, or as our gains if we have a gains. So, Mr. Speaker, those that are campaigning in funerals and weddings on how poorly we are performing as a government must also tell us, when they were in that position, what did they do? I am not here to attack anybody, but Mr. Speaker, allow me to put it as it is.
You cannot tell us that we are not going to benefit from recovering assets, liquidating our assets so that we can help our people recover from the financial crisis, and you have no alternative solution. For me, as I listen to people speak, I want to hear solutions. I want to see tangible projects. Mr. Speaker, allow us to debate this matter, advise the president, advise the executive on many avenues and ways of managing our debt crisis without putting the blame on a few of the.
Honorable Mkunji.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I also want to put in my word on the report of the medium-term debt management strategy.
Honorable Speaker, I first want to start clearly by differing with the majority leader, even if he has left. Honorable Speaker, when the majority leader misleads the nation by saying that
Honorable Mkunji.
securitization
Order, Honorable Mkunji.
is not
Order. Speak to this. You have a chance. Enjoy. Don't speak to leader. Speak to this debate. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker. Thank you. I just want to say that securitization is borrowing. And Honorable Speaker, it is only that you are borrowing against revenue that is supposed to have been received by the future generation of this nation. Honorable Speaker, I want this House to take the issue of debt seriously. Because we are here, Honorable Speaker, today, but in another 5 years, we have a generation that is growing. We have Gen Zs that need to get jobs. And sustainability of our borrowing, Honorable Speaker, is something that is supposed to be discussed. Honorable Speaker, the fuel levy, the housing levy, our dividends, these are things that Kenyans receive every year. And those are resources that are received and that are supposed to be utilized, knowing that in the future of the nation, yes, we might need all the roads made, but we must not strangle the future of our nation by borrowing everything and making it difficult for this nation to run in future. Because, Honorable Speaker, we are talking about resources here. The biggest question, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of how the monies that have been received, either through debt, through revenue, are used in this country. That is the biggest question. And, Honorable Speaker, we can talk here and forget that every day there is always a query from the Auditor General. There is always a newspaper article on lost funds. There is always a ballooned renovation, maybe of State House. Honorable Speaker, there is a ballooned construction of a certain stadium. And these are things, Honorable Speaker, that are eating our taxes and are making us borrow even more. And, Honorable Speaker, preparing to read our budget this year of 4.6 trillion, with our collection previously having been around 2.6 trillion, it tells you that we are actually getting money from debt to actually fit the fiscal deficit. And it's good to say that this House has actually signed off the management of debts of this country to some expert analysis without those analyses being brought here for approval. I feel, as the committee has recommended, Honorable Speaker, as the committee has recommended, all securitization.
Let me hear a point of order from Honorable Muchomba.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the member for Runyenjes to, for Honorable Mukonji, to refer to some agencies or some private companies that have been signed off to manage our debts without tabling documents to that effect.
Oh, therefore,
He's out of order.
Honorable Mkunji, I also heard you. You need to substantiate.
Honorable Speaker, first, I'm not the member of Runyenjes. So I will not answer Honorable Mushomba. I will just continue with my contribution.
Order, Honorable Mkunji. Relax. This is a house of debate, and I'll give you more time. Just asking you to substantiate what you did say about this house signing off to agencies. Substantiate that.
Honorable Speaker, I will just substantiate by explaining the law that we passed in this house. We passed a law and said that, Honorable Speaker, we are going to anchor our debts to the GDP. Honorable Speaker, experts must analyze and know very well that the GDP of our nation, without even the scrutiny of this house, is this much. And then after that, we are able to borrow more. And those are experts, Honorable Mushomba, that are supposed to do that. And that is how we have gotten to serious levels of borrowing, Honorable Speaker, in a way that we are not able to actually know how much debt this country has at any single time.
Honorable Mkunji, you don't have the capacity to do that, and I can see, I'm a teacher of economics, and I can see you have completely swayed to the ratio of debt, the debt ratio to GDP, which does not relate to the question that you actually raised and you have been asked. So quickly, I want you to proceed with your debate, withdraw and proceed.
Withdraw what, Honorable Speaker? I am giving my comments of the report that is on the floor.
You are unable.
Honorable Speaker, when I say, Honorable Speaker, when I say it is experts that analyze the GDP of our nation, am I wrong?
Order, Mkunji. You are unable to substantiate. When you are unable to substantiate and you are unable to have facts, you quickly withdraw and proceed with your debate. It's not making you any weak in any way. And we are also helping you to get used to debate. Give him the mic to proceed. Withdraw and proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I have to withdraw something that I've said that is supposed to be substantiated. All I have said is it is experts, financial experts, that do the analysis of GDP. It is not this house. And that is, I stand with that.
Oh, thank you. So you are misquoted.
I was misquoted by Honorable Mushomba.
Proceed then.
Honorable Speaker, I just want to say that...
yes. Yes, Honorable Muchomba.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Mukunji is out of order because this is a house of records and we must have record to support any debate, especially an allegation of what was done by this house. He's claiming that this house passed on
disclosed debt, which is not true. Let them hold their horses, wait for the National Infrastructure Fund bill next week.
Exactly. Like you put it, and you're unable to substantiate, you withdraw and proceed with your debate. Could you do that and proceed with the debate?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, unless you want me to bring a law that we have passed in this house back to Mushomba for her to read, then, Honorable Speaker, I don't have to even argue on this.
No,
it is obvious. We actually amended the law to ensure we anchor our debt to the GDP of the nation. It is followed. From then, henceforth, we have not sat in this house to increase our debt ceiling. It is normally looked at
by experts, and we are told now we can borrow this much, or we are told to reduce our debt. It is automatically something that should not be argued about, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. I think, Honorable Mukunji, you are unable to withdraw, and you don't want to follow the order and the normal rules that we use in the House, and therefore, I would advise that you proceed to withdraw that, and if you don't want to withdraw, then you forfeit your chance.
Honorable Speaker, I will not withdraw. Because I believe what I've stated is in the public domain. And, Honorable Speaker, we can talk even up to tomorrow. But the fact of the matter is, with management of this country, we have seen a lot of transparency in as far as borrowing is concerned. Mr. Speaker, we have seen a reduction of external borrowing and an increase in domestic borrowing, which to me is very key, because we still have, instead of paying our debt in dollars, we are now seeing the money being borrowed domestically, and it becomes cheaper. We have seen the policy moving towards addressing long-term borrowing at cheaper rates, as opposed to some of the debts that we have with very short period of repayment. So when we sit here as a parliament, we sit here so that we can see what a proper debt management policy is, not to try and bring politicking so that we can be seen out there by our constituents that we are speaking in parliament. We are here because debt is a very serious issue in this country. I want to congratulate His Excellency the President, because the debts that were taken by the first government, by the second government, by the third government, by the fourth government, were all starting to be paid during the current government. And the President has been in front of championing, restructuring, implementing productive programs with the money that is borrowed. So, Mr. Speaker, we can't come here and trivialize and bring politics. This government is serious on matters of agriculture. And how I wish majority of the money that have been borrowed for all this by all this government were being put in agriculture. We will not be talking about food as a scarcity of food in this country. If we put a lot of money that was borrowed in sectors like water, we will not be talking about the effect of drought. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this policy because it is simple and very clear that the government is now focused to deliver, and anything that is going to assist this government to deliver, it must be supported. So I support this policy because it's addressing the cost, the length of maturity, the cheapness of the loans, etc., etc. I thank you.
Very well, honorable members. I think the time for this particular debate is already exhausted. I want to call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I would like to take this opportunity to reply on behalf of the Chairman, Abdisharia, and his committee. Honorable Speaker, let me reply. I can see the member for Magarini would like a bite from my time, but I think the standing orders are such that if I start speaking, then I cannot. He should have talked to me. The 9 recommendations that have been made. The same speech, Honorable Speaker. If you check the Hansard, it is just the same thoughts, same ideas, same everything. I am afraid that probably somebody went and crammed the lecture notes and comes to this parliament, regurgitates them, goes to the next place, says the same thing. Honorable Speaker, we had the issue of the IPO for the pipeline, Honorable Speaker. Somehow, whatever they used to predict here has not happened. Actually, it has been oversubscribed heavily, Honorable Speaker. And I am afraid even when the Safaricom e-share comes to this speaker, this House, Honorable Speaker, without anticipating debate, Honorable Speaker,
probably it will also go the same way. They say, it is cheaper. Then the change said, it has been undervalued. They say, it is very expensive. Honorable Speaker, we want to tell these guys that are bitter off because they have lost a position in this parliament. There is time, take time to grow. If you graduated with a master's degree yesterday, it doesn't mean you actually have the experience to be able to give lectures and to talk to people about economics. Honorable Speaker, you're still a neophyte in economics. Take time, study, read, talk to people who have been in the practice to understand, Honorable Speaker, instead of coming here to expose your ignorance on matters economics, Honorable Speaker. But Honorable Speaker, I want to say a few things. Where I come from, my constituency, I have seen securitization work for us. I have seen roads that would otherwise not have been completed. I remember Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president, came here and sang for us a song called Safari ya Bamba ni Machero, and promised us that that road would be completed, built and completed in the 12th parliament. They came, started the road, and that road never took off until he finished his term. But I want to tell him now from this podium that William Ruto, with his securitization money, has completed the road, Honorable Speaker, through my constituency. It is now completed, and it is going to Ganze, and we will not sing about Safari ya Bamba ni Machero, we'll talk about Safari ya Bamba ni Rero. Just because some guy with some mind said, why don't we try this to raise funds to move the country forward, Honorable Speaker? And for me, that is debt management. That is good debt management when you use the funds that you have borrowed properly, Honorable Speaker. I have the road from Gede to Kakuyuni, Honorable Speaker, is now, Honorable Speaker, on the verge of being completed, Honorable Speaker. Many other roads in this country, areas. I went to the Honorable Millie Odhiambo's constituency, Honorable Speaker, in Rusinga, and I saw roads.
Order.
Honorable Speaker.
Order. What's your point of order, Honorable?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a lot of respect for my uncle, but the road
Who is your uncle, Honorable? We don't have uncles in the house.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Anyway, I have a lot of respect for the Deputy Majority, Honorable Owen Baya,
Very well.
who happens back at home to be my uncle. Okay. Mr. Speaker, the road which His Excellency, the former president, spoke about was from Mariakani to Bamba, of which it was done during his time. The one the deputy majority is talking about is the one from Kilifi to Bamba. So I don't think it's in order to tell this House that His Excellency, the former president, never completed what he told this House or what he told the nation. Thank you.
Very well. I think you are informing him, but let's hear what he has to say about it.
Honorable Speaker, I want to be on record in this House to state the fact that the Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta never built the road from Kilifi to Bamba, to Ganze. He built the road from Mariakani to Bamba. The song about Safari ya Bamba ni Machero is one that starts from Kilifi to Bamba. And that is a fact, and it cannot be disputed. And Uhuru Kenyatta never built that road. It has been built now. And I'm not in dispute to what he's talking about. I'm not disputing to what he's talking about. I am stating facts. And I would like to request the member for Magarini to actually listen to me so that, I can bless him. He has said that I'm his uncle.
Proceed with your reply. You may have a cup of tea to see exactly which road it was. Proceed.
Yes. So, Honorable Speaker, in reply, I would like to say that, and some of the recommendations that have come from this House actually are very good. One of the things that we must do is to see that we manage debt. We manage debt.
and debt management with this committee. You know, in the 12th Parliament, we never used to have this committee. Now we have a committee that looks at debt. We have a debt management strategy that comes in before the budget. And I think that is a beautiful, important thing that puts checks and balances into how debt is accrued, how debt is borrowed and used, Honorable Speaker. And I think, and the guidelines that are given by this committee are important, Honorable Speaker, as we move towards the budget. You know, before, Honorable Speaker, we never used to have this committee. Anybody would determine, or State House would determine how much money to be borrowed and how much is not borrowed. Now we have a committee that puts the ceiling every time before the budget. And I think that is one of the key aspects when it comes to debt management. And therefore, I think we're on the right trajectory, Honorable Speaker, in our debt management, debt reduction, and eventually, Honorable Speaker, making good use of funds. But interestingly, Honorable Speaker, we have now alternative ways of raising funds without incurring debt, the securitization that we have. And it is a good way of raising funds to do our project off the book. And what is wrong with doing things off the book? What is wrong with it? I've heard somebody say, you know, off the book. Yes, we are getting money, we are doing our roads, and off the book, not straining the budget, Honorable Speaker, and we're moving forward as a country. I think, Honorable Speaker, the money that has been used to do development projects in this country is probably more than the 30% that we have in the development budget. More than that. We have seen the housing, we have seen the roads, we have seen Talanta, we have seen Bomas, we are seeing many other development projects coming. We have seen the Roni Road, we are seeing the Mau roads, all these roads, Honorable Speaker. If we were to restrict ourselves to the budget, Honorable Speaker, we would not have done anything. But thank God for this government, Honorable Speaker, that is able to think outside the box without incurring and increasing debt, Honorable Speaker. We are moving forward as a country. So I want to thank the committee and say congratulations for this good document. And I want to request Treasury to study this so that as we move forward, we are able to manage our debt well, use the resources well, and develop every part of this country as it should be, Honorable Speaker. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And in conclusion, Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 53.3, I request that the putting of the question be deferred to another date, Honorable Speaker. And
to reply, you haven't.
And I reply.
Thank you. And as you have really requested, we shall defer putting of the question to the next session. Next order.
Order number 13, motion, examination of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements for the national government, resumption of debate.
Resumption of debate. Who was on the floor? Very well. There was no one who was on the floor. And if there's no further interest in that one, I may call upon the mover to reply. Honorable Tindi Mwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to reply. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts Committee, I wish to respond to the issues and first of all thank the honorable members who contributed to this report, Mr. Speaker. I also want to comment on the issues raised by honorable members during the debate on the committee's report of the Auditor General's report for the financial year 2022-2023. Mr. Speaker, allow me to first of all convey my sincere appreciation to the office of the Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to convey special appreciation to the office of the clerk. And also, Honorable Speaker, I want to convey a special appreciation to the honorable members for the robust debate and insightful contribution made by honorable members in this important report. Mr. Speaker, the committee, the Public Accounts Committee, highlighted certain recommendations. And I'm very glad that also members of this House have raised the same. And I want to assure this House that the committee did a very good job on this report, and that this report is going to streamline accountability. It is going to streamline use of public funds, Mr. Speaker. It's also going to streamline transparency when it comes to management of public funds, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have always had challenges with procurement systems. And Mr. Speaker, we have the Procurement and Disposal Act, which the Auditor General has raised pertinent issues about the violation of that act when it comes to procurement practice within the government state departments. This report, Mr. Speaker, has gone further to outline measures and gone further to recommend a reprimand and even as a charge for officers who don't adhere to procurement laws, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also we have issues, just as I had raised when I was moving, about the lack of internal audit function. Mr. Speaker, this report has gone further to outline that many state departments lack that function, and if they have it, it's very weak. And therefore, the recommendation is very clear that those state departments that do not adhere to the law of having an internal audit function will face the law, and also the state officers will be surcharged for failure to put internal audit function, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have been debating about the management of debt strategy 2026. This report has outlined an issue about interest on undrawn loans, Mr. Speaker. And this issue, the committee has recommended that the National Treasury needs to commit only on debts or loans that they are able to use satisfactorily. Because you find in many cases, the National Treasury commits on loans, the loans start earning interest, but government is very slow on implementing the projects which absorb the funds, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, the committee also went further to give recommendation about that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time, I would have outlined so many other recommendations, Mr. Speaker, but I want to assure this House that the Public Accounts Committee is committed to making sure that the oversight role, in conjunction with the Office of the Auditor General, the oversight role is attained to best levels, and that this House will find better recommendations in this report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just to read, because in the case of revenue allocation formula, this report is the one that will give guidance on the figure which will be used for the revenue allocation, Mr. Speaker. And I want to read paragraph 27 of the report so that it's captured on the floor of the House, Mr. Speaker. And it goes and says that during the 2022-2023 financial year, total revenue recorded under various revenue statements as received by the national government amounted to Kenya shillings 2,166,911,930,466, representing an increase of Kenyan shillings 138,675,090,516, or about 7%, when compared to the actual collections of Kenya shillings 2,28,236,839,950, realized in the financial year 2021-2022 as tabulated below. Mr. Speaker, we have a table that is attached in the report, And it goes further to say that the total revenue of 2,966,911,930,466 of the financial year 2022-2023 comprised of Kenyan shillings 2,50,114,740,913 as shareable revenue. Kenya shillings 45,990,954,879 as receipts from government invest and public enterprise, GIP, and Kenya shillings 70,802,234,674 shillings relating to development revenue. In the year 2022-2023 financial year, the total shareable revenue of Kenya shillings 2,50,114,740,913 increased by 7% when compared to the shareable revenue of Kenya shillings 1,920,434,885,078 in the year 2021-2022 financial year. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommends that the total national collected revenue amount of 2,50,114,740,913 forms the basis of the sharing of revenue between the national and county government as contemplated in Article 203(3) of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, you'll find that in this report, we have gone further to talk about duplication of projects. Some projects, Mr. Speaker, are funded by the national government, and at the same time, some are funded by the county government. We have gone further to provide measures in which the National Treasury needs to make sure that only one government funds one project, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time, I want to stop there and beg that I reply the report, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Very well, Honorable Ndindi. We shall defer putting of the question to the next session. Next order.
Order number 14, motion, report on the audited accounts for the Judiciary Mortgage Scheme Fund for the financial year 2011-2012 to 2021-2022.
Very well, the chairperson of the Special Funds Accounts Committee, I think had sought permission. Leader, are you aware of that? Yes. So I think we defer this to the next session. Next order.
Order number 15, motion, consideration of sessional paper number 6 of 2024 on the National Aviation Policy.
Equally, the chair of Departmental Committee on Transport is away on permission. Next order, and I think on the next order, it's also concerning the Special Funds Chair, who is not in the House. So the next order.
Order number 16, motion, report on the audited accounts for the Commodities Fund for the financial years 2018-2019 to 2021-2022.
I've already spoken to that. Next order.
Order number 17, ukaguzi kwa asasi zisizo huru kikamilifu za Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki na ushoroba wa kati katika Jamhuri ya Muungano ya Tanzania.
Mwenyekiti wa kamati ya utangamano na wa kikanda pia